Hello, Sunnyside. What a blessing it is to be able to come before you again to just share some things that I think that perhaps you just might want to know. Okay? Since I last spoke with you, we have lost Harry Belafonte. Belafonte died at the age of 94 years old. He was a calypso singer, a calypso dancer. He was an actor. He was really involved with civil rights. Again, he was one then that was just full of talent and pride, and he was willing to share with our community. Again, Harry Belafonte has passed. Some of the things that I will share with you will not necessarily be for you, but hopefully you can pass it on to someone who just might benefit from it. I've heard that FAA.gov air traffic controllers are looking for people who are 18, I think it was like 18 to 40, maybe not quite up to 40. But anyway, if you're at least 18 years old and you might want to consider being an air traffic controller, do know then that you will be paid as you are learning it, and the beginning salary is $103,000. Now, that window for opening runs from June 24th through June 27th. So you cannot, you can't miss that window. Again, FAA.gov. Air traffic controllers. They're looking for the younger people. You may really want to inquire about that. And again, if it doesn't fit you, pass the word along to someone who just might benefit from the information. Karen Bass is the new mayor here in Los Angeles. And again, the people's budget is coming out. So if you'd like to give some input, go to thepeoplesbudget.LA. All right? Those people who are representing you, let them hear from you. There's another thing I'd like to share with you. It is called LACountyGrants.gov. When I was in school, one of my teachers asked us to raise your hand if you have a loan. All kinds of hands went up. Then he asked you, raise your hand if you have a grant. And some of us were saying, huh? The difference is a loan has to be paid back. A grant does not. So you just may want to take the time to look and see, what does LACountyGrants.gov have to offer? It just might benefit you. Okay. I have a number of things that I'd like to share with you, so I'm trying to get my notes organized here. They are, it's just that I'm a bit disorganized. Have you heard of the name Carolyn Bryant Dunnan? Well, some time ago, her name was associated with Emmett Till. She is one then that accused him of making some improper advances toward her, and as a result, he was killed. His body was really mutilated, and Emmett Till's mother, when she saw it, she insisted upon having an open casket so that the world could really see what she saw had happened to her son. The accuser, Carolyn Bryant Dunnan, died at the age of 88. And as it turns out, there was an order for her to come forth again. And she later, but again, it was never served to her. The officers decided, well, she's raising children and she's somewhat sick. So again, she lived to be 88 years old, but really was the reason that Emmett Till was killed. Emmett's mom, okay, Mamie Till Mosley, recently has had a statue erected in her honor, again, for her coming forth and speaking up on her child's behalf. Okay, just be aware of that. American history just continues. And as I looked at that, it just made me realize, I just wonder if the roles were reversed, how much consideration would have been given. When I think in terms of things that have happened, perhaps then, if things would be issued just a bit more fairly for all races, things would be better for all of us, okay? This past month, there was Student Black Success Week at El Camino College, at some of the local colleges around, because I think it wasn't just limited to El Camino. But anyway, I was one of the first speakers as a part of that celebration. In El Camino, they opened up a Black Student Success Center. And at that center, one of my quilts is hanging on the wall. So I was really pleased to see that as at the backdrop as I was making my presentation. Okay. I'm a member of an organization called African American Quilters of Los Angeles. And at our last meeting, the president suggested that she really wants some way for younger people to become involved in the art of quilting. And I mentioned to her that that was really a timely comment on her part. And I invited her to come out with me as I made that presentation at El Camino College. And it really was timely in that as I was sharing some of my quilts, students started raising some questions. And as it turns out, the president invited them to come and attend some of our African American quilting sessions, and perhaps we may be able to put on a workshop there to answer some questions that students might have about the art of quilting. But again, timing was very important. Okay, and I was just really pleased at how receptive the kids were to what I was sharing, and the fact then that they even, I think the president had a chance to meet the president of the BSU, the Black Student Union, there at El Camino. So hopefully something down the line will come of that. We walk, and when I say we, I'm saying my husband and I walk at the Baldwin Hills Mall on the second and the fourth Tuesdays of every month. And it's with a group called the Soul Steppers, okay? All right, Soul Steppers in, those are seniors. And generally it's anywhere from 40, 50, maybe 60 seniors actually doing some walkers there, doing some walking there at the Baldwin Hills Mall. We start out around 8 a.m. and we're finished around 9. And at the end of that session, we will have walked at least a mile. We start off doing exercises, doing warm-ups. And then the Coach E will give us a lesson, and we start walking. This past time, the coach emphasized the fact that you must tell yourselves, you need to focus on telling yourselves the things that you really can do. Okay, focus on that. Focus on the positives. And as a result of my husband actually listening, he ended up walking an additional round there at the mall. And our friend, Sister Viola, ended up putting her cane down. She walked around the first time with her cane, and then she said, let me put this down. She ended up walking 2 rounds, okay, without her cane. So be careful as to what you're telling yourself. Okay? Do what you can while you can and speak positives to yourself. Speak positives. Okay. As I continue, on Wednesdays, I tend to go up to Kenneth Hahn Park. And again, my husband and I are walking still. And one of the things that I've noticed recently, I had no idea that there is so much yellow in nature. And just going up to the park, as you look at the hills, it's just a golden yellow. But realize too then, I'm sure it has to do with a lot of this rain that we have been getting lately. So I found myself just picking some of the yellow flowers. And right next to the Amundsen Center, okay, where I go for my sewing on Wednesdays, there is a place that that grows fruits and vegetables for the community. So I decided I would take some of the flowers and just ask a question of the grower there to find out what is this that's really growing wild? Because I do recall Brother Phillips mention, okay, Brother Willie Phillips, okay, Brother Phillips, he mentioned that there are a lot of wild mustard greens that are there, okay? So as I went to the center right next to the Amundsen, and I shared some of the flowers that I had picked and some of the greens that I had picked, the person there who was in charge said, yeah, those are mustard. Those really are wild mustards. And he was saying that he's not recommending that you go and pick those mustards and eat them, okay? But he was saying if you just really, really will cook them, okay, they just might be edible. So he gave me several cards. And I decided I better bring this and really share it with you, okay? CalFresh. Learn if you are eligible and get help and sign up. Okay, working, unemployed, unhoused, students, children, SSI, all eligible. Application assistance and case inquiries by phone. Benefits in 30 days or less. Confidential. EBT, 50% discount. Remember now, everything that I share with you is not necessarily for you, but it just might benefit somebody else, okay? For information, www.csuinc.org. Okay, CalFresh at csuinc.org. The telephone number is 213-746-1216. He also gave me some cards, and I said, I really need to share this with you. It says, let us harvest and care for your fruit trees. Need help growing the fruit off your fruit trees or getting the fruit off your fruit trees? Let us harvest your fruit trees so that you can get what you need and donate the rest to CSU's community programs, or we can train you on how to do it yourself. For information, okay, call 213-746-1216. It just blew my mind when I came out here from Alabama, just seeing fruit trees with fruit just hanging and people not taking the time to actually take it, all right? And then there were times when fruit would be hanging over a fence and I would look and see oranges or apples or lemons on the ground. Okay, so if you've had that experience, you might want to share these numbers. It's the same number. Share this number with the person who has this. Okay, harvest and sell what you grow to VMP. Growing more fruit than you can eat? Want extra income? Join our network of growers and harvesters and help increase access to fresh, local, beyond organic produce for your South Central neighbors. Again, the number is 213 746 1216. And that is www.csuinc.org/grow. Okay. Feel free to pass that information on. And as I'm sharing that, and again, this information came from the grower that's right next to the Expo Center. The Expo Center then is located there, 3980 Bill Robinson Lane, okay? Bill Robinson Lane is really one block east of Vermont off of King Boulevard, okay? And at the Expo Center starting in June, okay, for summer sports, okay? You can start registering now. $10 for 8 weeks. I'm going to say that again. $10 for 8 weeks, okay? Starting June 19th through August 18th. They offer soccer, basketball, and karate. And this is for kids then that are between the ages of 5 and 15. Again, $10 for 8 weeks. All right. The phone number there is 213-763-0114. Again, the Expo Center, 213-763-0114. Okay, continuing on. Right, number 8 here, I believe. Nope, did that. As I look at my computer, I'm often asked for donations, and I'm often asked to take part in surveys, and I don't mind doing that. But for some reason, it appears then that my ideas don't necessarily go with a lot of the questions that are there. Okay, if I say no, then the survey will show a line that goes just the opposite of what I've actually printed. All right, so anyway, I came across this information from former Attorney General Eric Holder, who was a part of the Obama administration. And his comment was, "We are witnessing a deliberate and coordinated assault on our democracy, state by state." And I am inclined to agree with that. He pointed out that in Tennessee, the gerrymandered legislature expelled 2 duly elected Black lawmakers. Okay, that happened about a month ago. Again, please pay attention to the news. Keep abreast of what's going on, and don't rely on somebody else to tell you. But again, watch it for yourself. In Florida, again, state by state, banning books, banning the teaching of Black history, advancing an anti-democratic voter suppression bills. Okay, in Florida, be aware of what's going on. In Mississippi, attempting to remove power from Black voters and Black elected officials. I understand that there are just a number of officials in Mississippi. Okay. However, the power is not necessarily in those elected officials. Be aware of what's going on around you. In Virginia, the governor has reinstated a Jim Crow era policy that disenfranchises Black voters. People, just do know your vote must really be valuable, because people are working so hard to make sure that it is taken from you and that you are denied the opportunity to vote. Our work to end gerrymandering and to protect fair maps require dedication, persistence, and a willingness to keep going, even when the odds seem stacked up against us. Okay? We must act with urgency. Okay? And then really believe in the fact that, hey, we can do this. We can do this. So I'm going to urge you to support organizations that believe the same as you do. Okay? Send them a donation from time to time. Okay? I'm going to urge you, be a foot soldier. I consider myself a foot soldier of one. Okay, if you ask me about voting, I can tell you right now, let me run out to my car and I will give you a voting application and I'll stay with you until you actually fill it out. Be a foot soldier. Okay, that's one of those Alabama terms. Okay, but become a foot soldier. Talk to the youth. Talk to the youth. Talk to the youth and encourage them to register and vote. As you hear of elections that are taking place in other states, give them a call from time to time and let them know, hey, I'm paying attention. Okay, I'm listening for you. Did you do your part? And anytime an election comes around, please don't try and hold your vote back as a means of protest. All you're doing is you're giving the upper hand to those who feel just the opposite of you. Again, don't hesitate to do your part. All right? So do your part to keep Black history alive, to keep it alive. Okay, and those of you who were born in other states and you experienced some things when you were growing up, tell your story, share your story. People really need to know about that. Okay? Just be aware, as I said earlier, be conscious of the news and what's actually taking place on the news. There are some terms then. I call them dog whistles, okay? And it's a way of letting others know that they're really talking about you. They're really talking about me, okay? Oftentimes you'll hear the word woke, okay? You'll hear the word reparations. You'll hear the word voter suppression. You'll hear the expression, they took off running. You'll hear the expression, stand your ground. All right? These are those dog whistle terms then that are used, I feel, to really suggest that they're actually talking about you. All right? So just be conscious of what's going around. It's like it's hidden in plain view. Okay? Others see it, but perhaps you don't. As I get ready to close, and again, I'm trying to be more conscious of time, you may be the only one in a whole group that wears a mask. Don't let it bother you. At the same time, always